You're a different man.
I'm a different man.
Married man.
I'm married now, bro. We went public.
Oh man, how's that
We went
like?
public like the NASDAQ.
Yeah, I can do it now.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what happens when you're married. You have to bring up the soup.
We went public with our wedding.
Oh man.
Small wedding
On
here
the
in Miami
beach?
on the beach.
Party of 3.
Had a crazy little flower thing. Got some wicked photos for Instagram. Yeah, bro.
Nothing like a good tax write-off.
I'm a married man. Well, the thing is, when you're this rich, taxes it doesn't really affect anything.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was in the top tax bracket by myself, and then with me and her, I'm in the top tax bracket already. So it's like you can't really get higher. So yeah.
Yeah, when you're there, you're there. Now you just gotta
Yeah.
fill holes and voids with stuff.
Married man, my boy.
Man.
Feels good. I feel like I completed my full story arc. It's really cool because I'm 28 years old now. I feel like the timing was perfect, right? Made $1 million at 24, partied my fucking face off, smashed a bunch of women, traveled the world, partied, had my like phase, right? Like that Wolf of Wall Street, fucking Justin Bieber, just dirty dog phase, you know? So I had my phase, I did that thing, and then from there I found a wife, got married, settled down.
Got your Haley Baldwin.
I got that complete story arc. Because I would hate to not have the first part. Because now it's like you got married, but then like I think marriages end up falling because, oh, you didn't get it out of the way, now you're stressed out, right? But now that I got it out, I'm never going to be like, well, what if? And vice versa. If someone goes and fucks around their entire life and never gets married, they're gonna be like, "What if I would have gotten married? Would I have found happiness?" I had both already. So it's like now at this point, I'm cool. I get to build. I'm in a great place, bro.
Yeah. I think you went through all of the phases the right way.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that, what they would consider the douchebag phase,
Fuckboy phase.
When you're in your fuckboy phase and you're going through it, you didn't look at it like, all right, well, I'm just gonna get all this out of my system and then I'll decide to settle down in the future. It was like, well, that's what you were feeling like at that particular moment. You didn't really care too much about what was going on down the line. And ultimately, when you made it through, it was like, oh, well, this was cool, but yeah, I don't think it's that sustainable. Let me go get off the market.
Well, I think you just feel lonely at some point.
Right.
There's loneliness, physical loneliness. I think as a guy, if you're alone, you're not getting pussy. You're lonely physically, right? But then there's emotional loneliness, where it's like you could have people that talk to you and like be with girls, but then you still feel some sort of like loneliness.
There's a yearning.
You feel alone even when you're not alone.
Right.
And I think that's what marriage and stuff fulfills. And also, I think in my older age of 28,
at 28,
you start to like think about like, man, what kind of life do I want?
Right.
And as a man of God, you got to be like, you know what? I want to get married. I want to have a wife. I want to have kids. I want to do all this stuff. And there's no way you're going to do that if you're just partying your fucking face off. So.
Right, because at one point you're going to have to look back. You don't want to be that, like, a Ric Flair, per se. You don't want to be that 74-year-old dude.
I saw Ric Flair. Didn't Ric Flair say something like he slept with, like,
20,000? No, maybe 40,000 women.
That's cap, bro.
Yeah, because the thing is, I can't say there's no way, depending on how you do it. Because like with Wilt Chamberlain, per se, right? Because for one, the math is crazy, but you got to like consider what best sort of metric I can use, Magic Johnson in the 80s, right? Yeah. You go to all of these sex parties, you go to all these sort of group orgy sort of situations. What do you consider a body? Because upon insert and exit, if that would be considered a body and you're like at a 60-person orgy and there's 37 women.
And you're slamming like six, yeah,
like you just, bam, you go from one insert, all right, I'm humping here, then I'm going the other way, I'm humping there. Pelvic thrust in different sort of directions.
So he's how old?
Yeah, Ric Flair right now is probably about 74. When he retired, when he first had, it was 57 in 2008. So that was 15 years ago. So he's probably about 72, 73 years old.
We need to get a David on the David. Can you look up Ric Flair's body count?
Yeah. So I think he said he said it had to be more than.
Okay,
he said 10,000. So that's half of what Wilt Chamberlain
and
had
now
said.
he's 70. You say 74 years old.
Yeah, 72, 73.
He said this in
2018, 19, I believe.
17. So
there
he was. So this was.
He had
6
to be
years
about
ago.
68.
68
Maybe about like
years old.
68. Yeah.
When do you think he lost virginity?
Oh, Ric Flair? He probably lost in his teenage years.
So 16?
Yeah, probably around that
52
time.
years, 10,000 women.
Right.
So 365 days, so that's 19,000 days about.
Yep.
So that's got to be a woman every 2 days.
Every 2 days.
He was 16.
Right. And the thing is, for him, he didn't start to reach his height until late 20s, early 30s. And the positive for him is when he did reach his height of pro wrestling, because they consider him like the greatest of all time. Now, granted, it's not like boxing or whatever the case is, but because it's like soap opera for men.
Yeah.
And at the time, they did have a very large following of women who wanted to be like with the wrestler. So if you looked at like during the 80s, he could have easily been able to pull multiple women per night.
He does this like 10, 20 girls a night, that would cover him for like 20 days.
Right.
So I could see the 10,000 number makes more sense then.
Yeah. But the only issue is that he runs into when he was pushing towards 50 in the entering the 2000s.
Yeah.
The appeal is completely different, because a lot of times when people throw out numbers like that, everybody thinks he's sleeping with like all 10s or whatever. That's not the case. I promise you, there's some cans in there.
You get a little like,
there's like some placenta-looking human beings. So there's
that thing is like, 2.5 still a 10 type of thing.
Right. Because I remember I saw a clip of John Cena on Howard Stern. And he was talking about how he slept with a 280-pound woman, and then Howard Stern was joking like, "Oh, so you slept with this big woman?" He's like, "Yeah, and I enjoyed it." And then he kind of went into detail briefly about how they were somebody came over, she had came and greeted him. She was a fan of the product or whatever, and the boys in the locker room were joking like, "I bet you would, and I bet you would." So he's like, "All right, I'll take the challenge, and I bet you I'm gonna enjoy it too."
I think it's not as bad when you're John Cena, because you could 280. You're John Cena.
Because he's there. But then I think it's like one of those situations where for like Ric Flair, Wilt Chamberlain, the people who got that number at that point, it's like what was the saying? You don't want to wake up at 10. You can leave the club at 10 with leave the club at 2 with a 10, but you wake up at 10 with a 2. So that's kind of the situation that I think they had going on.
I get it. I think there's a big thing to be said about because like I said, one of my boys, he was gonna go have a threesome with these girls, but they were not pretty. But I was like, listen, and he told me this, and I was like, you're kind of right. He's like 2.5 still a 10. I'm like, I get it. I would just prefer 110 over 2.5.
Right, because ultimately down the line, you're going to look back like, man, because if you were to line up everybody you ever slept with, would you feel comfortable now presenting that to the public? Because you could definitely look at it like, oh, man, I got some good ones over here. I can make this, come on now. But if you could like compartmentalize and choose between, like, I would present this one right here. I got these, let's row up lane number 6. We'll just put that up out there. But if you had the entire product, if you've been sleeping with like 10,000, ain't no way.
Kobe numbers in my prime, my boy. I was on some shit.
Yeah, a lot of times they got some people over there who got high body counts. I'm like, all right, if you could produce the ladies. Now, if you produce them at the time in which you slept with, that's one thing. But if you were to go like now, let's say you're like a 46-year-old retired, whore. At that point, you done produce everybody you done slept with at the time. Now it's not going to look very good. I
think it's all about. I think I like quality.
Right.
I think there's no fun in like saying you slept with a hoe because everyone has.
Exactly.
It's the same thing as like there's no fun in saying like, hey, you're rich if everyone is. So it has to be like, it sounds fucked up, and I'm not in any way. I don't mean this in the wrong way, but like, it's like a conquest. If anyone can conquer this land, why do you want it? Yeah. Everyone's conquered that. But if it's like something that like, oh, it's you and solely you, bro.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. Anyway, that's so funny. We're talking about marriage, and now we're like, yeah, body count.
Right. 10,000 women.
Wild.
Take the ring off. Get back in the game.
Yeah, no, it's I'm done, bro. This is not a Michael Jordan situation where I take a year off and I come back to basketball.
Fax it. I'm back to the whole game. It's not gonna go down. I'm back.
Blast my email list.
Open up my DMs. Forget my wife, although we're public on Instagram.
No, we're good, bro. I'm happy with this. I think it's like, there's peace that comes with it. Because now you never think about like anything. You think about, hey, I'm gonna build my business. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do this thing.
Right.
And it's cool because it's what I've been searching for. Because people always, when they are trying to work, they're like, I try to work, but I keep getting distracted.
Right.
Get fucking married. Get married. You're good, bro. And look at all these successful people like Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
Elon
the vast
Musk,
majority are married. Yeah. Now, granted, you do have a high level of divorce,
but all of them, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk,
but I think they have different sort of agreements because it seems like once they get a divorce, they damn near get right back into a marriage. One of the parties get married like within 12 months, whatever the case is.
Like swapping.
And then more often than not, they kind of have agreements between them to where they can kind of have an open marriage, but behind the scenes that nobody would know.
Once you have like that much money, I feel like people get into weird shit.
Right. You get into because like, what else is going to go? Of course, you're going to have hedonistic sort of situation. Show me the consistent billionaires who's on monogamous relationships or whatever the case is. It's not going to happen. You're going to have, like Elon Musk has what, 10 children or whatever. Bill Gates probably was sleeping with some tech nerd or something like that.
He was like sleeping with his ex-girlfriend while he was with his wife. It's dirty, bro. It's weird.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's all over. I wouldn't be surprised. But when you have that kind of money, of course, you know. But most successful people. Yeah, Jay-Z, you know, everybody would say, well, why would you cheat on me? Well, you know, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Like I said, I think it's good. I also think it's good because with these tech billionaires, I think the reason they do it also is because they don't get it out their system early enough.
Right.
Because you look at any of these guys, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, like they look real dorky, bro.
Yeah.
You go back into before they made money, they look real dorky. And then like afterwards, they almost did what I did but flipped. They got married because they were really dorky, so like, let me focus on this business shit.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of money, and like, all right, now let me get some bitches.
Right. Well, at least in Jay-Z, kind of got to take him out of that group because he was in the streets,
Jay-Z
so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because when you out there in the streets, you're gonna have them hoes. I never seen somebody who was making that kind of money in the streets and had no hoes. Imagine you a dealer out there. You can't get women, but you could get money. That's interesting.
We talked about this. Women like that drug dealer personality.
They
bro.
do. They do.
Like that. Like they like that danger. They like
an archetype of women. An archetype of women.
They like that risk.
Most women. But yeah, that is true. But you know, now you're a married man. It makes me wonder when you did go public on Instagram, because nothing's official until your Instagram official.
For sure.
So once you went public, what did the DMs look like?
I kept it under wraps for a long time, and then we went public. What do you mean the DMs like?
Like, because you know how they say when you announce, like, you have a girl or whatever, then you flood in with DMs. But then when you announce, hey, I'm off the market, I'm hanging up my jersey, I'm getting married, makes me wonder if it's a different response than when you went public with your relationship.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like my girl scares other women away. It's like one of these things where it's like, typically, a girl wouldn't give a fuck. If I married like a random girl, they wouldn't give a fuck. But because my girl has so many followers, it scares women away because they don't want to look stupid.
Social proof.
It's like one of the, or they follow her.
Right.
Like if you look at the comments of that post, she has like fucking 1,200 comments on hers. It's every single Instagram girl on the planet because they all are connected in some sort of way. So I think because of that, my girl scares away other women. Because typically, let's say I would have married a girl that had 2,000 followers. And I don't think that stuff is important when it comes to marrying someone. But let's say I married a girl with 2,000 followers. Another woman could look at that and be like, oh, she's lame. I could take her man, right? So I'm going to DM him because who cares? But when it's like, when they click the tag and they see it's my girl, then it's like, oh, she's prettier than me. Or like they feel intimidated. So like I think it scares other women away and it makes them not want to try because then they're going to just look stupid because they're DMing me and I'm with my girl. Why would I respond to them?
Right, and do you think it could also be because, well, this would probably fall under intimidation.
So here's a good example, right? Like, let's say you see a girl with a man's ugly,
right,
obese, loser. You're like, oh, I could take that. Now you see a girl and she's posting with fucking Drake. She's with Drake. Maybe not even Drake. Maybe just like a buff dude, rich, drives a Lamborghini. You're not gonna be like, oh, let me DM her. Because you know what's going to happen. Like, you know she's not going to.
More often than not, you know you can't compete with that guy. So I think with your girl, a lot of women, they'd probably look at it like, oh, can I really compete with her? Probably situation.
Because my DMs were jumping early on into the relationship or like into like, just in general. Because I had built a good like social, and I have a majority female audience. Let me read some of these. I have the screenshots from them. But it's so funny because they were just like. Oh,
when they had responded to you getting married.
Yeah, and it's like, no, this is just in general, because I would like screenshot when people would DM me, because I wanted to make a YouTube video about like reading my DMs. I think I did do it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, literally, girls would just slide in and they would just say shit like, hey, Rene, how's it going? I'm blank name. And then this is a girl with like 800,000 followers.
Oh, look at the citizenship. Okay.
Where is this? Look at that. So it's like, so you're going to make an OnlyFans. Like, they were wild. And when do I start my job as your wife? Damn.
Yeah, they shooting
and
these
are like women that were like clouded up.
They got some following and everything. Okay.
Yeah, this was an essay. Someone wrote me an essay. You know the drill.
Yeah, they were interested in becoming Mrs. Lacad.
And then now it's like I get none. Dry. Sahara Desert.
Do you ever think down the line this could be something that affects you? You go from being, incredibly desired to now you're only desired by one person.
Nah, because it's like secretive.
Right.
We were talking about this with my girl too. I was like, I have really good self-awareness. And if I can look in the mirror, I'm like, yo, I got abs. I'm still rich. I'm still funny. The personality is the one thing that doesn't go away. I can be like, yeah, I'm still that guy. I think at the end of the day, it boils down to like, because confidence doesn't come from like nowhere. It comes from self-awareness almost. Some guys are just crazy confident, bold. I don't know. I don't think I'm like that because I was really shy, insecure at some points. But then I started making some money. I got in shape. I started realizing like, yo, there's nothing. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So I think the confidence comes from accomplishments and like stuff you have. Like, here's the thing: if you're in great shape, you make some money, I think it helps with your confidence a little bit. Would you think, let's say you get real fat and you lose all your money, knock on wood, never gonna happen, would you be as confident?
I would like to say yes, but then no, because I think for us, you needed the verifiable evidence to back up the confidence.
Exactly.
So because that's the case, if I were to now become, the unchiseled Adonis, I become my brother, right? If I now become the unchiseled Adonis.
Brother caught a stray.
Yeah, he caught a stray. He is rather large, He ainit, I mean, if they were shooting, he wouldn't be hard to miss. But, hey, I love you, Jude. But basically, with if I were to now become very out of shape or whatever, and then I'm not as funny or whatever, I'd be very difficult to, walk in the world with confidence because I had that confidence because I could back it up. If you're somebody who's just incredibly bold, like you said, you just wake up in the morning and you got that energy, but you have nothing to back that up, although you internally can feel like, man, I'm the guy. If you have nothing to prove or you have nothing that you can show, verifiable evidence, you can't pull up no receipts.
Yeah.
Not only can nobody else probably take you seriously, it's going to be very difficult for you to do it for a long period of time.
Well, there was a saying, the difference between confidence and arrogance is results.
Right.
The difference between confidence and arrogance is results. So you take a look, Michael Jordan. If I walk up to a basketball court, I'm talking all this shit. Great example. Dylan Brooks is a great example.
Yeah.
We're going to get NBA here. Dylan Brooks, he's talking all this shit. Plays like trash. People make fun of him. He's a joke now. It's almost like arrogant. It's a joke. Michael Jordan could say everything, the same exact things Dylan Brooks said, but because he's Michael Jordan, people are like, oh yeah, they fear him.
Yeah, and the context of it all, because with Dylan Brooks to the average person, oh my God, he could destroy anybody.
Yeah.
But Dylan Brooks amongst his peers, oh no, you're just an ordinary, regular person. So it's funny how context plays such a large role, because you'll be sitting there and you'll look at somebody like, well, you may talk this particular way, but you don't have this verifiable evidence in your craft to be able to back that up.
Exactly.
So to bring this back around, if I was a large individual, I was rather elephantine. I would not be able to walk around with the same confidence. I'd be losing my mind.
Yeah.
I'd be losing my mind.
So that's 100% what it is. So I think for me, I'm very self-aware if I ever saw myself getting out of shape and doing that stuff. And also, I think that confidence prevents you from being scared. I always get these messages like, aren't you scared she's using you for money? She's going to leave you, blah, blah, blah. People always say that. Aren't you scared of this? I have no fear because I know who I am. It would be dumb for her to ever leave me because what? It sounds weird, but I have enough to get attention from anywhere.
Right.
In the same way that I think people being scared, it's their insecurities comes from the fact that they don't know what they have to offer.
Yes, and I think that's the biggest. Well, we fixing to get deep here. That's the biggest thing, because I understand why one would have that fear of, man, they could take everything. Like you could have a Tyrese situation, to where you just wake up one night and then shorty gone, and talk about, well, I want to move on, and you've been influenced by your friends. But if you are the best possible option that this person has, and moreover, you take care of everything. More often than not, you won't find yourself in a position like that. That's like I think that's an anomaly. Although the rates are so high amongst divorce and everything of that nature, but there's usually times in which things can lead to that particular point. But more often than not, if you know you're that dude, you know that you're taking care of everything that you have to take care of. And moreover, you can recover if it happens, because of course you'll be devastated.
Right.
It'll absolutely suck. But you know who you are. All right, well, here's a severance package. You wanted to, put on a facade of why you were really here, and then you ultimately ended up playing me. All right, it hurts, but I'll always bounce back.
Yeah.
So as long as you have that kind of personality, you'll always win in the end. It may suck when you go through it, because I can't tell you how many people
100%.
I've seen who've reached out to me, whether it's been amongst my fallen, who's gone through some terrible fucking divorces, with some people who just took them for everything that they had, but they have in their mind, like, you know what? It sucked while I was going through it, but I'm still alive. I still have an opportunity. I can bounce back from this. And they'll get the last laugh, because that person whose heart isn't genuine, they came in with ulterior motives, man, fuck them. At the end of it, they're not going to be able to sustain where they're at, because they just lived their entire life being leeches and vultures.
100%. So that's the way I see it. It's like, if you're very secure and comfortable with yourself, and that security comes from results. Like I said, I'm rich, I'm in good shape. I know kind of where I stand in the totem pole of society, right? Because I saw a study. It's like the percentage of men that have a six-pack and make over $70,000 a year is 1.5%.
Really? How the hell I love these statistics.
So now imagine, like, what percentage of men have a six-pack and make over $500,000 a year, $500,000 a year? None.
And I love how the six-pack has made its way in there.
And then no, because that's kind of what
because that when I was a kid, that was one of the things that I would always use as like the barometer of, all right, well, then how many people have a six-pack? Like, I was in junior high school, although in the grand scheme of things, people would say it doesn't really matter, until you realize how bad people's health are as they continue. So not only do you have financial, gain, is your physical in the right position? Because although you don't need a six-pack to be healthy, but it's verifiable evidence that this motherfucker's grinding.
Yeah,
you could say, oh, well, this person's genetics keep them in shape. Show me a 250-pound person who doesn't go to the gym, eats like a motherfucker who's walking around with six-pack. It's just not sustainable.
It's like a six-pack, it's like, yes, genetics could help. In the same way that family money could help someone become rich.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If someone really works hard, it might be easier for some others. Might be easier for others, but for the most part, six-pack is a verifiable way that this motherfucker gets that work.
Yeah, the exception doesn't beat the rule. The moment that you see it, it's verifiable, right?
And I'm not talking about scrawny. If they have a six-pack and they're under 130 pounds.
It comes pre-installed.
Exactly. But like, if they have a six-pack and you can snap their arms, it doesn't count. But six-pack is super verifiable. And again, money's verifiable. There's something that I saw, female delusion calculator.
Oh, I've seen a lot of those clips. It might have been from Fresh and Fit.
Female
Fresh and Fit
delusion calculator
with the cat bags.
But this is, and it's fucked up, but it is a little bit true, because I think it gives you a good idea of like self-awareness and where you're at. Oh, motherfucker, did it disappear?
Oh, you had it already on the tab?
No. I don't know if the female delusion calculator was actually the name, or if the website got sold or something. But
if you Google female delusion calculator,
I got standardsbro.com, and literally you could pick like the age, the race, the minimum height, the minimum income, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's a great way of like building your confidence. Because here's the thing: if you're not in the top 10%, you got some work to do.
Yep.
But it's good, because at least you know where you're at. You're like, you know what? All right, I got some work to do. I maybe shouldn't be this confident yet. Like this insecurity I'm feeling, maybe it's founded in actual reason, right? But if you're in the top 1% of anything, why would you be insecure about anything? Why would I be insecure about any woman ever leaving me? I could sleep peacefully at night knowing that like my wife will never leave me, that women will always want me, because I'm in the top 1% of, if I put statistics in America, in the world, because America is essentially the world. So it's like, that gives me peace at night, because I'm like, listen, you're not gonna find nobody like me.
Right.
So I think that's how guys should look at it. Because here's the thing, I think a lot of people look at like personality, like, but my personality, every motherfucker got a personality, bro.
Everybody does. Somebody could be lame to one, but you could be amazing to another. You just got to go and unlock it.
Personality is the prerequisite. That's the one you don't have to work for.
Right.
You can kind of work for it by like getting experiences and like becoming cultured, becoming funny, but it's the easiest one to have. You got to have the other two. It's like almost a prerequisite if you want to be someone that feels secure in your relationship.
Right, and you become desired. I think that can get you the leverage that you need.
And it makes you feel, and also it makes you feel good. I can't tell you like how much being desired does for your confidence. Like me being able to say stupid shit and make a fool of myself comes from the fact that like, I don't really care. It doesn't matter what I do. I know where I stand, you know?
Yeah, you have to earn that right. Because if you're in a position where, you know, you're kind of trying to make ends meet and everything of that nature, and you try to be kind of aloof, it doesn't work as well.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, this is why you're broke type
Right. It gives you that leverage so you could at least move through life and navigate through life the way you want to.
Well, it's like one of those things where, you know how people say, when a girl asks you a question, depending on, you could say the same thing, but depending on how much money you have, it calculates different in their head. So if a girl says like, oh, what do you do? And you say something along the lines of like, oh, I'm a G. I'm a G, I'm a boss, right? And you're broke, they're kind of like, but you drive a Honda Civic, what do you mean? Right? I'm not saying that's the barometer. It's like weird. But it's like, if you're like, I'm a boss, and you're rich and you have this expensive restaurant, she's like, oh my God, you're so dumb. Like, what do you actually do? What, like, tell me, right? There's almost like mysteriousness to it, and like, okay, he's just lying. Because I'll always downplay, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know, I just do some internet stuff. If you say it when you're broke, I do some internet stuff, she's like, what do you do? But if you're rich, it's like, oh, the mystique is there. You know, so I think depending on like what you have, there's no like script to what to tell women. I hate these pickup artists because they're like, you should tell women this, but it's like, bro, just get rich, because then no matter what you say.
You know, that makes me wonder, pickup artists, are they still in circulation? Like 10 years ago on YouTube, they were going ham. They were going crazy. But now, I don't know if they're still, you know, pulling the same numbers that they're pulling. Like, who gives a shit about pickup artists? I think it's because people
look at these pickup artists now and they look at like, I don't know, like a Dan Bilzerian or like an Andrew Tate. And they're like, I'd much rather just do this. This looks way easier. Because think about it, and it goes the same for you. You go on a date with a girl, really expensive restaurant, and she's like, oh, what do you do? Or no, you go on a date with a girl, McDonald's. What do you do? Oh, I'm a YouTuber. She's kind of like, oh, okay. But like you go to a really expensive restaurant, I'm a YouTuber. That instantly becomes like, oh, like you're success. Like it changes from like, oh, you're trying to be a YouTuber to, oh, you're a successful YouTuber. And it could apply to anything. You go on a date with a girl to somewhere broke. What do you do? Or you meet a girl in McDonald's. I don't know. That's an example I always use. I hate hating on McDonald's because people like McDonald's. But let's say you meet a girl at McDonald's and she's like, oh, what do you do? I'm a rapper. And you're like, oh, okay. But now you meet a girl on a yacht. What do you do? I'm a rapper. She's like, oh, really? Like, let me see your songs. It just changes the whole dynamic.
But well, yeah, on the surface level, definitely does.
The context changes the entire dynamic.
But then also how you present yourself in the moment. Because let's just say if you were to flip it, you could be the person who looks rich in McDonald's and you say, well, you're a rapper or whatever. I think you could get the same result as a person who's on the yacht. But if you now look broke in the McDonald's, it doesn't work. If you look rich, or I should say, if you look broke on the yacht, although you're on the yacht, it may not be sustainable. I think it flips.
No, I don't think so.
I think it flips.
I think being on the yacht just changes it regardless.
Well, no, being on the yacht, you have to work to get there, yes.
But so like even if you look broke, because I go on yachts, I'm wearing a fucking tank top. I look super broke, bro.
But then that's where the confidence level, I guess, comes in as well. Because how do you approach? I guess it works. Because there's a lot of people who I've seen just in real field research, just observing. You just see somebody who goes up there, they think, all right, well, you know, I'm in the ambiance, I'm in the location.
I think guys are getting it though. I think guys are getting it though. I don't know how this became a relationship episode, but like it was one of those things. Like as a married man, I can tell you from fucking experience, right? Like I can tell you from doing all of this stuff myself. I can speak from experience now. So I don't know, and it feels better to talk about it now that I'm married because it doesn't apply to me no more. I'm not like giving away no game that I'm going to use in the future.
Right. Because there's a lot of dudes that's struggling out there, you know. Just, what was the percentage? It was 30%, you know, either virgins or haven't had sex in a year.
It's 3 times higher than it was.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ago. And then you see how much dudes are alone, you know, just out there struggling, can't seem to get women. Not even just for like the douchebag reasons, but actually have that companionship. Because I couldn't fathom what it's like, you know, go home or you wake up every single morning, you go to work, you come back, and it's just a void of emptiness, and you can't seem to figure out how to go find the that companionship that you so desperately desire.
Yeah.
So you end up going online and you're searching different ways. Maybe you go deep into the red pill. Maybe you start to build a bit of anger towards women or whatever the case is. You just got to go out there and just try stuff,
Yeah.
And then as time develops, and whether you get things out of your system, whether you go and you find another companion or whatever the case is, you start to identify with what love really is. At that point, now you get out of that void. Yeah.
When you got that love in your life, you just become a much happier person.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful thing, because it gives you that security. And when you know somebody got your back.
When you know somebody loves you.
Right.
When you don't feel alone in the world.
Yeah, but then the tough thing in all of that is
loneliness is the real pandemic.
You got to go, yes. But you got to go through all of the bullshit to make it there. A lot of people just think they can make a quick transition from, well, I'm lonely, and then bam, I found love. But there's a lot of work in between.
It's
and
the
that's the portion
journey,
that throws people off.
It's the hero's journey. You look at like any sort of like superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's like they have to go through like some sort of hero's journey. Look at Batman. I watched Batman the other day because I watch these movies for inspiration.
Which one?
All three of them.
So you watched the Christian Bale one?
The first two. I haven't seen that. I didn't watch the Bane. I've seen the Bane one, but I didn't watch it around this time around.
Okay.
I watched the first one because I needed that origin story.
Yeah.
Right? And he went through that trauma. Parents died. He went to go train with ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fucking burned this ninja village down, escaped. And then there was one scene where like he's talking about like he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because he was fighting crime all night. First thing he does, he stands up, drops down, just starts doing push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's the hero's journey. Your parents don't have to die, but like metaphorically, your parents have to die, and you have to train with ninjas in the mountains to become the fucking man. So like that's the way I see it. It's like the hero's journey. So people, like I said, loneliness is the real pandemic, and the only way to escape this pandemic is not by wearing a mask. It's not by getting a vaccine. You know what the real vaccine is? The hero's journey.
That's a bar. Sponsored by Kim 8.
Kim 8, bro. That's crazy that it's wild that like celebrities can just put their name on anything and then make money. That Kim 8, that has her pussy juice in there.
Yeah, it does. A lot of vaginal yeast.
Yeah.
I would give a live review, but I'm not sure if I should do it. Fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Do it, whatever.
Yeah.
Tasting some leftover Reggie Bush in there?
Definitely some Bush for sure. Some Bush. There's a little bit of Miles Austin.
Okay.
That's up in there as well.
You got some Chris Humphries in there?
Just a little bit, about 72 flavors of Chris Humphries. Definitely some Ray J.
Yeah. Oh, There's a lot of Kanye in there too. I finished mine. A lot of Kanye in there.
Oh yeah, I think I'm starting to I'm getting erratic.
There's
some Kanye in there as well. I can taste the yeast, the cervix area, a little bit of fallopian tube. I like the design. It looks like it's a chewed placenta or something like that that's on the front. So that's nice.
It's literally the tubes after all of those dudes in there.
Right, and she was in the news for partnering. The Skims became the official underwear of the NBA, WNBA, and I think there was one other. Was it NHL? No, I don't think it was NHL.
It was a tweet. It was like Kyle Lowry and some Skims about to break the internet.
Oh my God! Yeah, the sus community is going crazy. Dwight Howard, but with
oh my God.
with with her, I find it very interesting. Like you said, celebrities can just slap their name on stuff,
bam.
And then bam, because she is a billionaire. And funny enough, randomly the other day I was searching who has the highest following on Instagram? Outside of the Instagram account, then Cristiano Ronaldo I believe is number one. But when you look at the top 15, I think
Kardashian.
4 of the Kardashian sisters are in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you talk about influence. These girls are going to get to half a billion followers on IG probably within the next 3 years or so. And that is, you talk about influencer. That is incredible.
Well, that's we were talking about it earlier. She is the original influencer. And the fact that she could slap her name on some lemonade, sell it, make some money doing it is wild.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Because before her, who was Paris Hilton? Oh, yeah. Paris Hilton was who I think, although they do attribute it to her, invented the selfie at that, walking around with flip phones and taking photos or whatever the case is. And Kim took her spot as the number one.
Well, she took it to the next level.
Yeah, she took it to a whole other level. And although the uprooting, or I should say the beginning, the uprising of the entire empire was built off the back of a sex tape. My God, can I freaking admire their business acumen.
We talked about this a lot. They've mastered the art of turning attention into dollars.
Right.
Because we live in a world where attention equals dollars.
Yeah.
And say what you want about the way she did it. The fact that they've built a massive empire is still crazy. We were looking at I was looking at jets the other day. I can't afford a jet yet, but I like to look at things because I'm like, okay, how much do I need to make in order to get this, right? Regardless of how far it is. But we were looking at jets, and we were looking at celebrities that have jets. I'm like, okay, which celebrities have jets? Sure enough, Kim Kardashian just got a jet.
Yep, Kim Air.
Shit is fucking more expensive than Jeff Bezos's. It's more expensive than Elon Musk's. Massive, custom, pimped out. Like, she got this crazy jet, and I'm like, okay, that's fire.
Yeah, they live a different life. I remember there was a story that had came out a couple of years ago where Kylie Jenner, there's bad traffic in LA. It's like, yeah, do I want to drive 40 minutes to drive? No, fuck that. Let's fire up the jet to go 3 minutes to go to a location. That is a flex that, my God, I wish I could have. But then the money is just,
the craziest part about all that is they have a good way of like keeping your eyes. So like, I don't like the Kardashians. I think it's like mind cancer. Personally, I respect what they do behind the scenes. I know what they're doing business-wise. I see it.
Yeah.
But like, the way they're presenting it and feeding it to people, it's fucking with this like, oh my God, so today, like, I need to go to this skim shoot. It's this is not what business is. They're feeding you a false perception of what business is, and it makes women like, I want to be like Kim Kardashian. I'm going to go to the skim shoot and make $10 million. It's like, that's not how it works. There's someone building the business on the back end of that. Kim is just the face attached to it. You're not going to be the face of that unless you already are famous.
Right.
So I know what they do behind the scenes, and I respect it. The way they present it to the audience, it feels kind of like dodgy.
Yeah, that's the genjutsu, the illusion.
My girl was here glued to the screen watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I hear it, I'm working, and I hear it in the background, and every single fucking thing is like, so we're doing Paris Fashion Week this week, and we're going to do this, and Kylie needs to do this, and it's like, bruh. What the fuck is going on here?
It's a false perception. And it's funny because a lot of people, and then we could close with this, but a lot of people, they don't recognize the individuals who are at that stage. It's a completely different game for them than it is for somebody who's just starting. Because I can't tell you how many people, especially now with like the hustlers community that's on Instagram, where people think, well, I could just build that image immediately straight out of the gate, come from nowhere. The amount of people who think that you can go from zero to that high level of fame overnight, it takes so long to make it to that point. Kim Kardashian in 2007 couldn't have pulled off what Kim Kardashian has done now in 2023.
Is the game they play now is way different. You know, the game they play now, and they own that entire space. If anyone tries to replicate it, it's just a knockoff.
Yeah, exactly.
Kim Kardashian.
Exactly.
So it doesn't hit the same. Like, she can do it because it's her thing. She's created her own lane. You cannot be in her lane. She'll crush you. Why would they go for the knockoff Kim Kardashian when they can get the main one, the real one?
Yeah.
So she's created her lane, and that's kind of what makes it work for her and their whole like family. But outside of that, it's hard.
Yeah.
I guess my last question, something we could end it on. You're Kim Kardashian. You're not Kim Kardashian, but let's say you were.
I like black men.
And one white dude.
Yeah, that is true.
What makes her choose to have the baby with Kanye? Because she has all these like athletes. It's good genes. Athletes, good genes. Right? Basketball players, tall. Football players, fast, strong, agile. Kanye West, creative. He's none of those things. He's not tall, strong, fast, or agile, but he's very creative. So as a woman, what do you think women like more? Are they going to go and have a baby with a creative dude? Or are they going to take these fucking genetics gifted from God? Because her having babies with Kanye confirmed my thought process that they would much rather have a genius, entrepreneur, billionaire type than they would like a 6'5" fucking basketball player.
I think for her, it's like it was kind of what we see now, where people just, I want to have my fun and then I'll ultimately settle down after. Yeah. Although there is no settling for Kanye. I think at that point, when she got with Kanye, it was coming out of the divorce, or maybe even in the midst of the thing with Chris Humphrey.
But I also think that
I would say the reasoning is probably of everybody who she was with. Kanye probably upgraded her like nobody else. Yeah. When she was with, whether it was all the other flings in the 2000s were a little bit different, but I think the long-term relationships that was on paper, Reggie Bush going into when she was with Humphreys, and then I forget all the other people in the middle, but then when she got to Kanye, and she talks about it, where he upgraded her entire wardrobe. Yeah, she wasn't a fashion icon.
All her businesses, even Skims, is all like Kanye, like neutral colors, like Kanye influence.
It's all of his influence or whatever. So I think because he was by far the best option that she had, and he still at that stage, because I think everybody who she was with, there was like a level of equivalence.
Right.
Kanye was so far ahead of her in status, financials, for all intents and purposes and everything, and then even with the vision, that was what created it, because she felt like, I'm a number two. There was no equivalent.
Exactly.
I think that's ultimately what it was. Yeah, because you ultimately want women to search
even
for
like
somebody who's
equivalence. I wouldn't say Kim Kardashian was equivalent to Chris Humphries, because they only found out about him through Kim Kardashian.
It was even high. It was either equivalent or better.
Yeah,
like I
so
think with Reggie Bush at the time in 2009, in the reality space, she was here. Reggie Bush was working his way up, and then they were there. It was somewhat of an equivalency. Because I'll never forget, I watched the Super Bowl 44. They beat the Indianapolis Colts. They interviewed Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
I'm watching the thing. They're like, what is she doing at the... So the moment that I saw that, I'm like, oh, it's over. They're about to go... Her whole family's going to go up. But then with Kanye, I think because he was up here and then she was ascending, then I think what ultimately, although with Kanye's erratic and everything of that nature, I think it got to a point where in 2020, she ended up reaching him here. And then Kanye, because of all the outbursts and everything of that nature, slowly started descending. Still a musical genius and everything of that nature, but I think it's different.
At that level, though, you can't get bigger.
Yeah,
there's no getting bigger.
Right, and this is the interesting thing about it, because now a lot of people are always talking about with like, where does she go from here? Who's the next dude?
She can't.
I don't think you're gonna find somebody
any dude she finds, she's gonna platform him, unless it's like fucking Drake or something.
Yeah.
Any dude she dates, he's getting platformed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's kind of like the issue she's run into. But yeah, man, crazy to think about. I think this was a cool little relationship marriage podcast. I'm a married man again. It's awesome. I'm pretty sure. I mean, again, stating it again.